Alright, just gonna do a little quick follow-up video from where I'm at. So, I got the mini tubs pretty much welded everywhere where it could seam weld. I'll go along and show. Most of it was decent weld. Some of it I couldn't clean away. I should have done it before I mounted them up in the car. But I want to say some of these I sprayed after I had them mounted, so it wouldn't have mattered. But I know I epoxied the mini tubs before I installed them, but I think I sprayed over them again after they were installed, because I welded these seams together right here where I joined them. I think those were welded in after they were in. What I should have done was fit them up with tech screws, get them where I want them, pull them out of the car, because I was able to install these as one solid unit. I didn't have to put in the inner and then put the outer in or whatever. So I should have tech screwed them up, fitted them, got them where I wanted them, pulled them out, ground away the epoxy, because I had epoxied each half as well prior to keep them from rusting. Ground away, welded, cleaned the welds, because now I have to go back and, well, actually these aren't going to be seen. I'm not worried about making it that pretty, so I'm not going to bother cleaning these welds there. But could have cleaned the welds, epoxied the whole thing. Well, I could have taped off down here, so I wouldn't have had to go back and sand it away, but I could have taped it off, epoxied it, pulled the tape, mounted them back in, welded or ground away where it needed to be to weld them to the car itself, weld them to the car, grind those away, epoxy over with just a brush or something. I wouldn't have needed to spray, just brush on where I welded after I cleaned them. And then this could have been left clean or weld through primer, and then it would have been a lot easier. But some of these areas down here, like you can see where the epoxy is right here. Get some light action. Yeah, see the gray at the bottom. So I can't get down in there really well. I tried with like all kind of different tools. You can't really get down in there that well just because of this little lip that's right here. It's an indentation. So you get areas where it welds pretty, and then you get areas where it pops like crazy, and you have to keep welding over it until you've burned off all the solvent or all the chemical from the epoxy to where it'll actually be a solid weld and not full of pores and etc. So anyways, let me climb underneath here and I'll go over everything that I've done, or show it. So, you get a good view of this nasty mess right here that I have to fix still. So, welded back here, seamed in. Those are decent. Then you get to this area where I couldn't get it, and it's nice and blobby looking, except for that one little area. And blobby up here, and blobby all down here. Anyways, all that seamed, crawling, finagling through. So I chopped out the seat belt thing. I have to, like right here is where I didn't cut far enough in, so the blob weld is right here at this piece. I don't know if I want to leave that or not. I don't know how. I guess I could come from the top and grind it away to make it a little bit cleaner, because this is going to have a patch put in anyways, like the little L flange. Yeah, magnet this thing. So I'll make a little, all right, try this again. I'll make a little L where it'll go here and then flatten out. So I'll make a little L that'll come out and be about 1 inch to inch. That'll run this little gap to fill in these holes. I've got to do the same thing down here and on the front. Same thing over here. So I have to do that still. I'll just spot weld those. I'll make the little 1 inch by 1 inch angle. I'll spot weld those in. Have to do the same thing back here too. But yeah, like here, stack of dimes. Easy, pretty welds when the metal's clean. Right there, it was somewhat decent. It wanted to blob up towards the back where it wanted to pop like crazy. But you can see where it actually is clean metal, I get pretty welds, even with a MIG. But I got a little pinhole there, I see. Right there. I'll have to come back and hit that whenever I weld the angle in. So some of these are gonna have to be cleaned up. Looks like that can actually be hammered out. This little lip down there, I think I can hammer that out and continue that weld a little bit further. I didn't realize that when I was welding. But anyways, so the hinges, I had the trunk on, it fits up pretty good. Something I screwed up on that I didn't realize, and I've already welded, and it'll be probably too much of a pain to undo, get my light so I can show you. So this side over here, nice and flat. Didn't realize this side until I put the trunk on. Dip. Tried putting a block underneath here and knocking this up, thinking maybe it would, you know, stretch the metal enough, and all I did was put a little hump right here. So now I have to also fix that hump. But the only thing I can figure, because these welds underneath here, those three, were solid as hell. Those actually welded really good. This is also welded. So the only way to get this to raise would be to undo these, undo the ones underneath, hammer this up, clamp it from underneath, and re-weld it. Or I could slit this back a little ways because it's unlevel back to about right here. So I could slit this back a little bit. I could probably knock this up a little bit once I separate the front. I would have to slit probably this right here at the top a little bit, maybe. Lift this, re-weld it. I don't know if I'd want to re-weld from, I'd probably re-weld from the underside so it's not visible. This, I want to say most cars have this gap. I'm thinking just fill that with filler anyways. I don't really see the point of leaving these body line gaps in cars. I don't remember how this is handled on the car, if this gets filled with filler anyways, or if it's just filled with a seam sealer. But it seems like that would be a water trap anyways if it's not filled. But anyway, I plan on probably just filling this whole gap here with filler and blending it out into a nice smooth contour all the way around. So I'm tempted just to weld this anyways, and I'll just clean it with the die grinder or the burr tool or something, and I won't have to worry about it. I could just split this, raise it, weld it, and be done with it. Give me your input if you think it's worth doing that, or if I should just go ahead and grind out these welds and these welds and lift the panel the right way, which will take a whole lot longer probably, and we'll get roughly the same result. Anyways, the hinge brackets are tech screwed in for the trunk support, or the trunk hinge supports. I didn't weld them yet. I started to, and then I realized that I haven't welded these mini tubs and they needed to like flex in some, or they might move someone welding anyway. So I didn't want to make these solid yet until I got mini tubs solid, since that's what they're welding to, and I can test fit the trunk again. And with the trunk in place and bolted down and the works, then I'll tack this in and make it more solid, and then test fit again, and so on. It looks, I had to do a little bit of hammer work up here, a little bit of hammer work right here to get the trunk to seal right. It looks like I might have an issue up here some. There's a little, seems like this side's more gappy than the others. You have to clamp it down pretty tight for it to get rid of the gap. But I'll see how that plays out. But anyways, this mess down here, that's my next fix. Let's see if I can, I don't remember if I showed this in a previous or not, but, get underneath here. Sorry for the poor camera work. So here is why it's hammered in. That bolt. To be able to get this cross number in, I had to hammer these shit, excuse my French, but I had to hammer this like crazy to get that bolt to be able to fit. At the time, I was just wanting this thing to bolt up. Now that I'm done, it looks like crap. I don't want to leave it like that. So, what I plan to do is, I'm getting too old for this. Cut this probably up here, down, and somehow make an angle and blend down some kind of triangle type shape. I really don't know how I'm gonna figure it yet. I'm gonna have to play around with some cardboard, and I'm gonna have to do some hammering and metal shaping with it. But essentially this will be kind of just an angle right here. I have to make sure I leave enough gap for my trunk, or my gas tank here. So it'll have to go from like right here across some. I really haven't figured out quite how I'm gonna do it yet, but I wanna fix that nastiness. So if anybody's got any bright ideas on that, the only thing I could think of is like, if anybody has seen Armor, kind of like the shoulder pad, or the, I guess it's pauldrons, I think. But the shoulder pieces of a suit of armor, they're kind of domed. I thought about making something like that to where it kind of humps over. It would give enough room for that bolt to come in and out without it indenting or worrying about, you know, the flex of any of the sheet metal starting to rub in because it's up against it. But if anyone's got a brighter idea or a better idea of how to fix that, let me know. But that's next on the agenda, is fix that, finish my little L brackets or angle for that. Turn the light off so I don't kill the battery. And weld these up, and then I need to fix that up there. However I'm gonna do that. A bunch of time consuming stuff, more or less. Well, that and that piece up there is. The L brackets or angles aren't gonna take long at all. These trunk pieces aren't gonna take long at all. But the trunk fits pretty well. I mean, it's got a little bit of gap issues where I need to figure out my flexing side to side. It's kind of weird. I might have to do some finagling with the hinges, but with the trunk laid on with the nothing bolted through or anything, my gaps look pretty good. But as soon as we go to bolt the hinges on and we go to latch it, which these latches don't really have much of any play, it seems like the trunk wants to sit more on this side. This gap over here is really tight, and I don't know how I'm gonna remedy that one. But that's next on the agendas. Oh, and had someone compliment my vices. I mentioned I thought I had a Wilton vise. I do. So my drill press vise is this Wilton, that stock number, little XY axis. I don't know if it's actually an original, if it's some reproduction. It seems like it has a little bit of play to it. You can take the play out with these, but if you tighten these up, it makes it impossible to actually rotate it. I wish I had an actual mill. And then the actual bench vise is this Palmgren 6-inch, and it is a beast. It is very well built and very smooth operating. I love this thing. I want to say I quoted him on eBay. I mean, I quoted him on YouTube when I commented back. I think I got this off eBay for, I want to say, $250-ish. I think somewhere around 200. I don't think I paid more than 300 for it though. But I don't know what the model number of this thing. I don't think it has any kind of model on it anywhere. But if anybody's in the market for a vise, look for one of these. If he said they discontinued them, but you can still pick them up on eBay. It looks like maybe used. I don't know. Some people still have new stock, but amazing vise, very good quality. I think it's better quality than this Wilton for sure. But like I said, I don't know if that's an actual real Wilton or if it's some kind of reproduction China knockoff. Of course, my drill press is a doo-doo Tractor Supply special with a whole lot of shaft play. All right, guys, I'm calling it quits. Ready to go in, relax, have a drink, cool off. Well, cool off, but it's actually not bad in here. It's 70 degrees in my shop right now. Love this AC unit. Anyways, guys, like I said, comment, let me know if you know any way to remedy that issue or this issue better than what I have figured out. But I'm ready to move forward with this. I'm steady motivated and constantly making progress on this thing, and I don't want to slow down the train. Slow it down, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to stop working on it, and this thing won't be road ready next year, which is what I'm shooting for. It's not going to be done by any means, but I would love to be able to drive this thing for cruising the coast next year. All right, guys, thanks for watching.